All right, when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals, I think this is going to be a much improved team. However, the NFC is just insanely deep. I think Kingsbury and Murray are going to be wildly entertaining, but for year one, I'm going to say 4-12. When it comes to the Atlanta Falcons, this was a team last year that was just so decimated by injuries. It still found a way to go 7-9. I think they have a good enough quarterback, a good enough receiving core, a good enough running back core, and now a healthy defense. They upgraded the offensive line. I have them going 11-5 and competing for the NFC South division title. For me, Baltimore is such a tough team to judge because they lost so much defensive talent yet brought so much in. And then they bring some pieces around Lamar Jackson, but last year he wasn't that good of a passer. They were really good in December last year, really bad early in the season. I kind of expect some of the same. I have them going 9-7 right now and fighting for a wild card spot in the AFC. For me, Buffalo's another tough team to really pick up on because I love them defensively, but it's really going to come down to the same thing it comes down to with Baltimore, and that's the development of their second-year quarterback, Josh Allen. For me, I don't buy it quite yet. I love what he can do with his legs. I know he has a strong arm, but I need to see precise throws, and I need to see him do it on a consistent basis. For now, I have them 6-10 and coming in third place in the AFC East. Carolina is yet another team that I have a lot of question marks on going into the season. Is Cam Newton out of his prime? Is that injury going to ruin his career? He's already hurt again. Honestly, it's a tough team to read. Right now, I have them 8-8 and coming in third place because I just don't see consistency out of this team. The Bears were a surprise team last year. Nobody thought they would go 12-4, let alone make the playoffs. And this year, I think they're going to take a little step back, not a giant one. I still have them going 10-6. I have them coming in second place in the NFC North. I still think it's a good team. I just don't think Trubisky's ceiling is high enough, and I don't think the defense can be as good as they were a year ago. There's really not a lot to talk about whenever you get to the Cincinnati Bengals. They are an absolute mess. They don't have a good defense at all. Their quarterback, Andy Dalton, is pretty bad at this point. I have them going 4-12 and finishing last in the division. I just see nothing special about this team. Oh boy, the most hyped team in the NFL coming up this year are the Cleveland Browns. I love Baker Mayfield. I love getting Odell, even though he is a little bit of a head case. I think Freddie Kitchens is going to be an awesome head coach. I think they are a little immature, a little young, but I think that they're so talented it'll make up for it. I think they'll go 12-4 and win the AFC North. Dallas actually has a pretty good roster. I think it's limited by Dak Prescott, and I don't even think he's as bad as a lot of people would make him out to be. I just don't think that he's one of those elite tier level quarterbacks. I think he's a game manager at most. Zeke holding out is obviously a problem, but for right now, I'm going to pick him to go 10-6. I think they have too much talent not to have a winning record. Yeah, Denver is about the epitome of average. I have them going 7-9, coming in third place in the AFC West. Flacco's a has-been, even though he really never was that great. The defense is getting older. I like Vic Fangio, but there's nothing special about this team either. Von Miller's a great player, but the defense is getting older, so I don't think they'll be able to compete in the AFC West. Detroit's defense should be good this year. They got Mike Daniels off of a cut, Trey Flowers in free agency, so they are supposed to be good defensively, but I have never bought into Matthew Stafford. He's had some good years. I just don't think he's an elite level quarterback. I have the Lions going 8-8, missing the playoffs, coming in third in their division. I just think that they're a pretty average team. Green Bay was very disappointing last year, but I expect them to bounce back this year. I think defensively, this is the best they've been since their Super Bowl team. They do have a little problem at receiver, not the best depth, but Devontae Adams is a beast, and Aaron Rodgers can make anyone look good. I have the Packers going 10-6, winning the division, and going back to the playoffs. I'm not madly in love with Deshaun Watson. I think he's good. I think he could be a lot better. I think he's got a lot of room to grow. But when you have DeAndre Hopkins, that helps a lot. Still not a very good offensive line, but now with Andrew Luck retiring, this division gets a lot easier. I got the Texans winning it at 10-6. This kind of stuff is why I wait to make my predictions until about the start of the season, because Andrew Luck retiring came right out of left field. I think this is going to shock the entire organization. It's a talented team, but the last time Brissett started the entire season, it was terrible. I got him 4-12 last in the division. I do not believe in the Colts anymore. The Jaguars definitely upgraded at quarterback with Nick Foles, but I don't think the talent around him is good enough to win many football games. I mean, your number one wide receiver is D.D. Westbrook. That's not really an ideal situation. The defense is going to be great, but I don't think it can carry him. I got him going 5-11. Now with Patrick Mahomes, I would say this is Andy Reid's best chance at a ring. This is probably the fastest offense in NFL history. The defense does concern me a little bit, but there's so much talent on this team. I got him going 12-4 and winning the division. The Chargers definitely have a good roster, but they continuously choke. They don't show up in big moments, and now they don't have Derwin James, their Pro Bowl safety, and Melvin Gordon's not playing. So I would say they're going to go 10-6, fight for a wild card spot, but they're nowhere near the Chiefs right now. The Rams still have the best defensive player in football. That didn't change. But Todd Gurley's arthritis in his knees is kind of concerning, and Jared Goff isn't really an all-star quarterback. I think the team's very talented and great coaching will lead them to a good record. I got them going 11-5 and winning the division for a third straight season. Yeah, this might be the worst team in the NFL. I got them going 3-13. They don't have a good quarterback. They don't have good receivers. They don't really have a good running game. They don't really have that good of an offensive line, and they don't have a good defense. Nothing is good about this team. They're going to be terrible. The Vikings roster is pretty good. On paper, it should be a playoff team, but Kirk Cousins doesn't show up for big games. I have the team going 9-7, finishing behind both the Packers and the Bears, so it'll be a struggle to get a postseason spot. Death, taxes, and the Patriots winning the AFC East. Those are the three guarantees in life. The New England Patriots are going to win this division. It's not even going to be that tough for them. I have them going 14-2. I think this team is just overwhelmingly dominant. Best coaching staff in football history, probably. They're gonna kick some butt this year. You know, Drew Brees did not look that good at the end of last season, and he's never really that good outside of the dome. That being said, I still think the Saints are going to be a good team. I just want to get a little shot in there at Brees. I think they'll go 11-5 and compete for the NFC South title with Atlanta. Man, I feel like I'm criminally underrating this team. I think they have more talent than the record I'm projecting, but I have them at 4-12 just because I do not like Eli Manning at all. I think he's so washed up and done. I think he has been for like 5 years now, and they're not planning on playing Daniel Jones, so I can't see this team winning a lot of games. The Jets are definitely improved. There's no doubt about it. I think they got a better head coach. They definitely got a better running back, and they've got some nice receivers in there to help, and they also added C.J. Mosley on the defensive side. That being said, I'm not a total believer in them. I have them going 7-9, but I see Darnold making some great progression this year. It's pretty much impossible for the Raiders to do worse than they did in the first year of the John Gruden era, well, the second John Gruden era. But I have them doing a little better. I think they're still going to be terrible. I got them at 6-10. That's a bad football team out there, and Antonio Brown's a head case. This is probably the prediction I'm least confident in, but I wanted to take a chance here, and I kind of believe this. I have the Eagles at 13-3. I think they have overall the best roster in the NFC, and if Carson Wentz stays healthy and plays like he did in 2017, there's no doubt they can go 13-3. Now that the two head cases, Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, are out of Pittsburgh, I see a much more focused and united team. I got them going 11-5 and back in the postseason. I mean, Mike Tomlin does not get losing records as head coach. There is for sure talent on this 49ers team. I'm not going to deny that, but I'm not a big believer in Jimmy Garoppolo. I have them going 6-10. The NFC is really, really hard. If they're in the AFC, I could see them going 8-8, 9-7. But because they're in the NFC, I got them going 6-10. I always wonder why people don't rate Seattle higher in the preseason than they do. I mean, last year I saw so many people saying they'd be 5-11, 6-10. For this upcoming season, I'm predicting 9-7. I think the loss of Doug Baldwin is going to hurt significantly, but I think Pete Carroll's a good coach and Russell Wilson is an elite quarterback. They'll find a way. All right, let's cut the crap. The Buccaneers are not a good football team, all right? Defense is atrocious. Winston is unproven. The only good player I really know on Tampa is really, I guess O.J. Howard's developing, but Mike Evans would be the only superstar player you could point out. I got him going 4-12. I think this is Jameis Winston's last year on the Buccaneers. Tennessee is a pretty average team. Mariota's a pretty average quarterback, and so it kind of adds up. I have them going 7-9. I think Luck retiring definitely helps because they never beat Andrew Luck while he was playing. But I don't see a complete football team here. I don't love the receiving core, and I really don't love Marcus Mariota. For my final team, I'm doing the Washington Redskins, and I've got them at 3-13, last in the NFC East. I think the talent around the quarterback, whether it's going to be Dwayne Haskins, maybe Smith comes back, or Case Keenum, who's starting week 1, is just god-awful. They have no good receiving core. They have no good tight ends. Their offensive line's not going to be that good that Trent Williams is gone. This team is going to suck in 2019.